Hello everyone and welcome to Bell Explains. In this video, I will be explaining Mind Test 1.2e. Let's get to it. Simplify each of the following. So here we have 1a, 2 times 3 to the power of 4 to the power of 2. So in a bracket, when there is a number outside, it's supposed to multiply the index on the inside, right? So here it will multiply with this. Since here there is no index, means it is a 1. And here it will multiply with this number 4 here. So that will give us 2, 1 times 2, and 3 to the power of 4 times 2. So that should give us 2 to the power of 2 and 3 to the power of 8. 11 to the power of 3 and 9 to the power of 5. So that should give us 11, 3 times 3 and 9, 5 times 3. So here we'll get 11 to the power of 9 and 9 to the power of 15. Next for C, we have 13 to the power of 3 divided by 7 to the power of 6. And all of this is to the power of 2. It doesn't matter, although there is a divide in between here. What we have to do to expand the bracket is multiply the indexes. So here we have 13 to the power of 3 times 2. Divide 7 to the power of 6 times 2. So here that gives us 13 to the power of 6 divided by 7 to the power of 12. Next for D, we have 5 to the power of 3 times 3 to the power of 4 to the power of 5. So here that gives us 5 to the power of 3 times 5 and 3 to the power of 4 times 5. And that will give us 5 to the power of 15 and 3 to the power of 20. Next for E, we have m to the power of 3, n to the power of 4, and p to the power of 2 to the power of 5. So here we have m, 3 times 5, n to the power of 4 times 5, and p to the power of 2 times 5. So we'll get the answer m to the power of 15, n to the power of 20, and p to the power of 10. For F, we have 2, w to the power of 2, and x to the power of 3 to the power of 4. So here, the number will also be multiplied. So since here there is no power, means it is 1. So it will be 2 to the power of 1 times 4, w to the power of 2 times 4, and x to the power of 3 times 4. So here we'll get 2 to the power of 4, w to the power of 8, and x to the power of 12. So 2 to the power of 4 can also be simplified, and that will give us 16, w to the power of 8, and x to the power of 12. Negative 3, a to the power of 5 over b to the power of 4 to the power of 6. So we'll have negative 3 to the power of 6, a to the power of 30 over b to the power of 24, because 4 times 6 gives us 24. And as I have written here, in notes, we have a negative number. When it is to the power of an even number, the base will become a positive value. As for a negative base to the power of an odd number, the answer in base will be in a negative value. Let me explain here first. So for example, we have negative a to the power of 2. This means negative a times negative a. So negative and negative will give us a positive, so we'll get a to the power of 2. Okay, so you understand here, negative of base. A negative base, when it's to the power of an even number, it will give us a positive base value. As for this one, if for example we have negative a to the power of 3 it means negative a times negative a times negative a. So negative and negative gives us positive, positive and negative gives us negative. So that will give us a negative a to the power of 3. Okay, so here we have negative 3 to the power of 6. So 6 is an even number power, which means the base will become a positive value. We'll have 3 to the power of 6 is 729, a to the power of 30 over b to the power of 24. And lastly for f, lastly for h, we have 2a to the power of 5 over 3b to the power of 4 to the power of 3. So here we get 2 to the power of 3, a to the power of 15 over 3 to the power of 3 and b to the power of 12. So this should give us 8 over 27 for the numerics. And then we have a to the power of 15 over b to the power of 12. Number 2, simplify each of the following. So first, let's open up the brackets. We have 11, 3 times 2 times 4 to the power of 2 times 2 over 11 to the power of 2 times 2. So here we have 11 to the power of 6 times 4 to the power of 4 divided by 11 to the power of 4. So since here we have two numbers that are the same bases, 11 and 11, and there is a divide operation here, so we can simplify that further. 6 minus 4, because division is associated with minusing the index, and then 4 to the power of 4. So here we have 11 to the power of 2 times 4 to the power of 4. B, we have 3 to the power of 3 times 6. 2 times 3 here we have 6, so we'll have the power of 6 over 6 to the power of 4. So simplifying that, we have 3 to the power of 3 times 6 to the power of 6 divided by 6 to the power of 4. And this will be simplified further. We'll have 3 to the power of 3 times 6 to the power of 6 minus 4. That should give us 3 to the power of 3 and 6 to the power of 2. D, we have 4 to the power of 2 times 3 here gives us to the power of 6. And then 3 to the power of 3 here gives us 6 to the power of 9 divided by 4 to the power of 2 over 6 to the power of 3. So here we have 4. Since the base is the same, we can simplify that further. We have 4 to the power of 6 minus 2 over 6 to the power of 9 minus 3. And that will give us 4 to the power of 4 and 6 to the power of 6. Next for D, let's open up the brackets first. So here we have negative 4 to the power of 6. And outside the bracket we have 2. So we have negative 4. 6 times 2 gives us 12. And then times negative 5. 2 and 3 here gives us 2 times 3 is 6 over negative 4 to the power of 6 times negative 5 to the power of 2. So let's write that in a one-line sentence. We have 4 to the power of 12 times negative 5 to the power of 6 divided by negative 4 to the power of 6 and negative 5 to the power of 2. So we'll bring the same bases together. We have negative 4. So here there is a divide, right? So we'll be subtracting the indexes. We have 12 minus 6 for the base of negative 4 and negative 5. Negative 5 has the power of 6 and 2, and the division here means we have to subtract. So we have 6 minus 2. That gives us negative 4 to the power of 6 times negative 5 to the power of 4. Next we have E. x to the power of 2, y to the power of 6 times x to the power of 3 over x, y to the power of 2. Okay, so here we'll write it in a one-line sentence, means x to the power of 2, y to the power of 6 times x to the power of 3 divide by x, y to the power of 2. So let's bring the x's to one side, which means we have x to the power of 2 plus 3 minus 1, because for the x's we have power of 2, power of 3, and here there is no number, means it is 1, times y to the power of 6 minus 2. Because this is a division, means we have to subtract the indexes. So we have x, 2 plus 3 minus 1 gives us 4. And for y, we have 6 minus 2, so we have 4 as well. For f, we have h to the power of 3, k to the power of 2, to the power of 4, and then h, k to the power of 2. So expanding the brackets, we have h to the power of 12, k to the power of 8, 12 because 3 times 4, and 8 because 2 times 4 gives us 8, over h to the power of 2 and k to the power of 2. So here we have a division operation, which means we will be minusing the indices. So here we have h, 12 minus 2, and k, 8 minus 2. Here we have h, 10, and k, 6. Next, for g, we have m to the power of 5, n to the power of 7, to the power of 3, over m to the power of 2, n to the power of 3, to the power of 2. Okay, so here we'll expand the brackets first. That will give us m to the power of 15, n to the power of 21, over m to the power of 4, n to the power of 6. Next, we'll have to minus the power because it is a division operation. So here we have m, 15 minus 4, n, 21 minus 6. So this will give us m to the power of 11, n to the power of 15, b to the power of 2, d to the power of 4, bracket to the power of 3, over b 2d3, bracket to the power of 2. So first we will expand the brackets. We have b, 2 times 3 gives us 6, and d, 4 times 3 gives us 12, over b, 2 times 2 is 4, d, 3 times 2 is 6. So once again we will subtract. So b, 6 minus 4, and d, 12 minus 6 gives b to the power of 2 and d to the power of 6. For number 3, and next for number 3, so let's expand the brackets here. We have 2 to the power of 3, m to the power of 2 times 3, we have 6, and then n to the power of 12 times 3 to the power of 2, m to the power of 2, and n to the power of 8. Remember to just multiply these two in, okay, over 12, m to the power of 7, n to the power of 12. So let's get the numbers to one side. We have 2 to the power of 3 times 3 to the power of 2 over 12. And for m and n, we have m to the power of 6, n to the power of 12 times m to the power of m to the power of 2, n to the power of 8, divide by m to the power of 7 and n to the power of 12. So here we have 8 times 9 over 12. In here we have m 6 plus 2 minus 7, and n, 12 plus 8 minus 12. So that gives us 6. For m, we have to the power of 1, n to the power of 8. So m to the power of 1 means we don't have to write the 1, we just have to write m. That gives us 6m n to the power of 8. Next, for b, we have 5 to the power of 2, x to the power of 2, and y to the power of 8 times 6x to the power of 10, y over 15, x to the power of 4, and y to the power of 6. So let's get the numbers to one side. We have 5 to the power of 2 times 6 over 15, and then x to the power of 2, y to the power of 8, times x to the power of 10, y divided by x to the power of 4 and y to the power of 6. So let's simplify this further. We have 25 times 6 over 15. In the bracket, we have x. Multiplication means plus, so 2 plus 10, and then divide, so we'll minus 4. And for y, we'll do the same thing, 8 plus 1 minus 6. Here there is no number, which means it's 1. Okay, and simplifying that further will give us 10 here, x to the power of 8, and y to the power of 3. So here we have 10, x to the power of 8, y to the power of 3. Next, for d, let's open up the brackets. We have 24d to the power of 3, e to the power of 5 times 3 to the power of 2, d to the power of 6, e to the power of 8, over d to the power of 5, e to the power of 6, times 6 to the power of 3, d to the power of 3, and e to the power of 6. So let's sort this out. We have 24 times 3 over 1 times 6 to the power of 3. In a bracket, we have d3 e to the power of 5 times d to the power of 6 e to the power of 8 divided by d5 e to the power of 6, and then times d to the power of 3 and e to the power of 6. Okay, so we'll simplify this. This number gives us 1, and in the brackets we have d, 3 plus 6 minus 5 minus 3, and for e, we have 5 plus 8 minus 6 minus 6. So that gives us d, 1, and e, 1. We don't have to write the 1, so we'll write d. And that's all for Mind Test 1.2e. Stay tuned for the rest of 1.2.